Hi guys and welcome to this video. Today we're talking about the RTX 4070, why it sucks and it hasn't been doing well in the market. Now, across the world the RTX 4070 has been showing poor sales. Tweaktown, WCCF Tech and multiple review outlets have been confirming these reports, and it doesn't seem Nvidia is quite pleased with their poor sales. With rumors they are wanting to limit production and many people are reporting it. Now, limited production is to simply strangle the supply of the RTX 4070 to create an artificially higher price so they could maintain that sweet $599 or $600 MSRP. Now, there have been price drops in certain regions as retailers have been trying to get rid of the RTX 4070. And many models are still at their base MSRP of $599, which is good. You know, we have MSRP pricing, but the card is getting a lot of trouble to sell as people are trying to discount it, retailers are trying to discount it. And the ever popular Micro Center in the United States has been offering $100 Steam gift card with the RTX 4070. This has proven to be one of the most hilarious things I find. And if we take a look at the ever popular Steam hardware survey, we could see why certain clues on why this GPU, the RTX 4070, is not selling well. Before the RTX 4070 launched, there was something I think that was very interesting that happened. The RTX 3060 really began to gain traction and it has become the most popular GPU on Steam in March. This really puts it in a very interesting way. We have to look at the GPU market. The GPU market has always traditionally been a place where people buy cards between the $200 to $400 price point. Traditionally, your 70 series cards have been in the upper $300 to $400 price point. The RTX 4070, my mistake there, RTX 4070 is in the $600 price point. It is now having to deal with being a $600 graphic card, while most people are buying in the $300, $200, $400 range. And we could see that people have went out and bought RTX 3060s. They are the most popular card. This is a problem for the RTX 4070 because it is out of the price bracket. Once you cross $500, a lot of people will buy high-end cards. They will go for $700 cards, they'll go for $800 cards. People who have that kind of money, they buy 4090s. People who don't have maybe as much money, but they could afford a little better, they would probably buy a 4070 Ti or 7900 XT if they like AMD. This puts the RTX 4070 in that very difficult position where it's not cheap enough to be attractive to the budget or normal-minded consumer, but the people who are elitists, they want extreme performance, they want very high FPS at high resolution, they're gonna buy it. Now, let's look at this chart from Hardware Unbox. This proves a point that the RTX 4070 isn't really impressive. As you can see at 1440p, it's trading blows with a 6800 XT. A 6800 XT for many months now has been $500, $520, $540. I got my my RX 6800 XT for $500 with 2 free games last year for, Thanksgiving, somewhere around there. And I got that for $500, and that's the Gaming Z Trio. That's not a base model, that was an overclock model. And when I overclock it, it could perform about on par with a 6900 XT. This card is $600. I paid $500. Yes, this card has better features in DLSS and DLSS 2.0 and 3.0, but these features aren't really going to cut it when you look at the price, because people who have a 3060 and a 3070, they also have access to DLSS 2.0. They have access to it, so they don't necessarily need to worry about getting that. Well, they don't need to worry about getting it at all because they have it. The only thing is 3.0. and Nvidia hasn't given them anything reasonable to buy it with, so they're not going to purchase it. It's just that simple. At 4K, we could see the same thing. The RTX 4070 is not particularly special and just drives home the point. If you were going to buy a 3070, you've already bought it. Are you going to really spend another $600 to upgrade to a 4070? Most people wouldn't. They'll skip a generation and then they'll upgrade. And this continues to drive home the problem for the RTX 4070. It's just not at a competitive price because it's at $600. People who own 3060s and 3070s have just bought their card or already bought their card for a few months now, so they're not going to upgrade. The card is not competitively priced enough to make people consider upgrade. So this is where the card is sitting. It's basically a 3080. And people who went out and bought 3080s have either upgraded to 4090s or 4080s, and people who are happy with their 3080 are keeping their 3080 and they're using DLSS 2.0. And with optimized settings, DLSS 2.0, you're going to have an extremely good gaming experience. As you can see, it's nothing special with the 4070. Another issue I don't think a lot of people realize that the 4070 is running into is the resolution PC gamers play at. PC gamers are not excessively into 4K. Most of them are still gaming at 1080p. So think about this. If you're using a 3070, a 3060, a 3080, a 6700 XT, a 6800 XT, a 6950 XT, and you are somehow at 1080p, are you going to need an upgrade? The answer is absolutely not. You're not going to need an upgrade because you're getting enough performance. The second most popular resolution is 1440p. That has grown this month. But again, if you have a 3080, a 3070, you're going to be perfectly fine. But I could already hear somebody going to say in the comments, or somebody may be watching this video and thinking, what about the VRAM? Most people have common sense. If they believe that they're running out of VRAM, they will lower the textures from ultra to high. Most games still run well with high textures. And if you're playing at 1080p and 1440p with high textures, a lot of times you could get away with 8 gigabytes. And here's the thing, the RTX 3060 comes with 12 gigabytes. And it's $300. This has put a lot of very interesting things out with the 4060, 4070 rumors. The 4060 Ti rumors. The 4070 is already out. But 8 gigabytes of VRAM, expensive cards for the 4060 is coming. The 4070 only has 12 gigabytes. And it's very easy to summarize. Most PC gamers buy in $200 to $400 price range. People can't spend an extra $100 most times. So if you're buying at $200, they could probably save up and get something for $300. And I believe that's how the 3060 sold. The 4070 is $600, which is above most consumers. The RTX 3060 and 6700 XT both have 12 gigabytes of VRAM, so there are 12 gigabytes of VRAM cards that are available in the $300 price point that many people could buy. The 6800 XT sold for months, absolute months, because I'm talking since last year November. So we have November, October, December, January, February, March, April, right? April, that's what, 6, 7, 8 months? It's been for $520, $540. It's not an impressive video card. It doesn't have 16 gigabytes of VRAM. DLSS 2.0 is not a selling feature, as most people are already on the RTX 3060, so they have access to it. On the 3060, you have access to 12 gigabytes of VRAM also. So the 4070, while it will be an upgrade in performance on RT, you are going to pay the price. You're going from a $300 price point to a $600 price point. A lot of people can't swing at $300. Maybe they could swing and spend an extra $100, as I said, but it's not really an impressive video card for the price. It would have been impressive at 500 because it would have been in the mainstream. It would have had 12 gigabytes of VRAM, it would have 3080 performance, and it would have had DLSS 3.0. That extra $100 might seem a lot to people who buy at the high end, because if you're buying a 4090, you don't really care. $1,600, that's nothing. You put out your money. Also, if you do professional work, your GPU is making money back for you, so you wouldn't really care, because YouTube is going to be making some money for you, animation is going to be making some money for you, streaming and Twitch is going to be making some money for you. So that's an investment into your business. But for the average consumer who's buying this to play games, that's $600 is money out of his bank. So if he's happy with his 3060, he's not going to do it. Another problem too I didn't mention here is optimizing your settings. If you optimize a 6800 XT, and I mean you use optimized setting in games, you know, cloud quality, fog quality, you drop those from ultra to high to auto medium, you get massive performance gains. And people don't necessarily need the 4070 performance. Especially if they game in a 1080p and 1440p, they can still have a wonderful gaming experience. So that's just my thought on the RTX 4070. You can tell me what you think below. Have a nice day, everyone.